Hello everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies, and we have finally reached the last two episodes of Hazbin Hotel Season 2. And after how episode 6 went ahead and ended, I think a lot of us were really looking forward to see how they would go ahead and end off this second season. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and talking about today, is that I'm going to be breaking down these final two episodes for Hazbin Hotel Season 2, talk about what goes down and what they went ahead and revealed. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on these last two episodes for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. And since Season 2 is now over, stay tuned on the channel because I will be making my spoiler-free review where I dive into the things that I liked and didn't like about this second season. And now that Season 2 is also over, I'm also going to go ahead and make a video speculating on what could be going down in the third season, which I'm not going to dive too much into theories in this video, so be on the lookout for that Season 3 theory video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so episode 7 starts off with Vox capturing Lucifer because remember, last episode Vox said that Lucifer will be the power supply for his weapon, before we cut to a Vox solo song, which I gotta say, the Vox songs this season have been amazing. Like, I really like all of the songs that we got with Vox involved. And in this song particularly, titled Brighter, we get to see human Vox, or how he was named back then, Vincent. And essentially he was just a news reporter who got jealous of other news reporters, so he went about in killing all those other news reporters. For I believe in this particular moment where he starts his cult before he's ultimately killed by a TV falling on his head, which, no joke, when I first saw this I was like, this is straight up Stu Macher right here. Like, that's how Stu died in Scream. Which, what I just said might be aged poorly if Stu Macher is revealed to still be alive in Scream 7, not just an AI replica that Ghostface uses. But here, I am liking what we're seeing with human Vox here, and seeing his backstory unfold. It's one thing that's really fascinating with Season 2 is that we are getting all these backstories for these characters. Well, not all the backstories, but we did get to see human Serpentius, human Alistair, and now human Vox. That is just so cool. And again, all the Vox songs this season have been amazing. I know I already said it before, but I just really cannot get enough of all those Vox songs that we got, whether it's a part of different songs or his own solo songs. But it does lead us back to the hotel where Vox is broadcasting an emergency report where Angel Dust is there, who we learned from the last episode was used as a spy, where Vox reveals his weapon, a giant cannon, in which he fires it directly at heaven, which destroys its force field that was set up at the end of episode 2, where it destroys the gate that St. Peter guards, before Vox tells heaven that they have 24 hours to surrender the kingdom of heaven over to Vox, or there will be a heaven-wide extermination. And I just want to point this out because it was hilarious, but I was scrolling through the Hazbin subreddit where user Professional Big Bet, to them it feels like a reference to Sonic Adventure 2, where Dr. Robotnik makes an announcement and blows a hole into the moon, which was made famous within the Sonic fandom with a funny dub. But it does lead to Heaven and Sarah having like this dilemma where Pentious is there and they have a song where in this song, Live to Live, they reprise It Starts With Sorry, one of the songs from season 1, which is cool. But Sarah ultimately decides to send Emily down to the hotel to try to help Charlie and stop the V's plan, where it leads to another musical number. And it's in this one where we get to see that Valentino and Velvet are starting to get tired of Vox, which was something that was foreshadowed in previous episodes of season 2, and it seems like that here they had enough with Vox's antics. As this song goes ahead and ends off this episode before we get to the season finale. Alright, so the final episode kicks off with the hotel devising a plan to stop the V's, where it definitely feels like in this particular moment, it felt like a reference to when Blitz was devising a plan to get his parking spot back from Veronica Mayday. But this plan does involve Charlie going to like a little like dinner event that Vox invited Charlie to in the previous episode. And while all that's going on, Cherry and Huss will go ahead and save Angel from Vox's mind control, while Baxter and Nifty will go ahead and set up a broadcasting signal that will showcase a live feed of Serpentius from heaven, proving that redemption is possible. But all of this ends up failing, and Vox has the upper hand, where Alistair tells Charlie to say that Vox is the most powerful sinner and to do it as a favor, which is the same favor that Charlie agreed to when Alistair and Charlie made that deal in Season 1, Episode 7 that gave Charlie the information that the angels can be killed. And of course, Charlie has to comply to that because she agreed to that deal, where Vox becomes very powerful and his plan is going according to plan. And this also causes Alistair's deal with Rosie to be broken. Now, Alistair and Rosie do have a conversation about all of this that went down towards like the final musical number, and that's definitely going to be something that we'll see later on. But Vox goes ahead and tells Charlie, hey, thank you for doing all of this, where Vox goes ahead and puts his hands on Charlie's shoulders, which breaks the deal that Alistair made with Vox. Because remember, in that deal that Alistair made, he told Vox not to lay his hands on Charlie, a loophole thinking that Vox was thinking that not to hurt Charlie, which allowed this deal to be broken and Alistair to be full powerful to fight Vox, where we get to see full demon form Vox fight off against Alistair. And this was a very cool action sequence to see, another rematch between Alistair and Vox. And Vox decides to be reckless and use his cannon to try to kill Alistair, killing a bunch of sinners, where Charlie and Emily try to save all those sinners that survived. And when Emily is trying to save Alistair from Shockwave, the laser hits Emily, burning off a major part of her wing. Where Vox now points the cannon at Charlie, Emily, and Alistair to kill them, and he's told not to as it could destroy half of Pentagram City. And Vox is like, as long as I get to kill Alistair, I do not care. But before he can shoot the cannon, Vox is stopped by the other V's to where Valentino rips off the head of Vox. And then Emily decides to use like this bubble barrier to try to lessen the impact of the explosion. And everyone goes ahead and helps out with Emily, including Valentino and Velvet, since at this point they have turned against Vox and everything seems to be working very well until Luke comes on down and tries to kill Vaggie, as she's explained during the musical number for Gravity, where Abel goes ahead and steps in and tells Luke to get out of here and go back home. And this is where I want to go ahead and talk about Abel's part during the musical number for the song Hear My Hope, because hearing Abel's part in that song really felt like I was listening to a Fall Out Boy song, and that makes sense because the voice of Abel in the series is Patrick Stump, the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, and I remember listening to some of Fall Out Boy songs and really enjoying them, which is why I was very excited to hear that Patrick Stump was attached to Hazbin Hotel to voice Abel, because I thought he would have done great in terms of the musical numbers for the series, and here he definitely did a great job there. But the cannon is destroyed and Heaven is saved, to where Vox is still alive, just as a head now, to where he's essentially an iPad and he's taken away by Valentino and Velvet, most likely to be locked away. And Angel Dust joins along because remember, we found out in Season 1, Episode 4 that Valentino owns the soul of Angel Dust. And this was definitely a very sad scene because, like, this is essentially Angel Dust full on quitting the hotel and no longer returning to it because he sold off his soul over to Valentino. And if you've seen Season 1, Episode 4 and know what Valentino does to Angel Dust, it makes the decision that Angel Dust decided to make very much sad. But at least Serpentius was able to get his broadcast down to Pentagram City to prove that redemption is possible, which leads us to the ending of the season where people are going to the hotel for the right reasons this time, where Alistair is still at the hotel to mess with Lucifer. Where we get the reveal of what name Vaggie has decided, because remember, all throughout the season she's been wanting to change her name, and it's just Vaggie, just without the E. And we do also see that Emily now has a golden prosthetic wing as she's delivering a letter to Serpentius. And the scene is narrated by Charlie as she's leaving a voicemail for her mother. And season 2 concludes with Charlie's phone ringing, revealing that Lilith is finally going to answer one of Charlie's calls, which serves as a tease that Lilith will be a more prominent figure in season 3. Now, I definitely think that these 2 episodes definitely delivered a satisfying enough conclusion that wraps up a lot of the story threads set up in season 2, while also delivering some good teases on what we could expect in the following season. I will admit that there are still some story threads from season 2 that are left unresolved, mainly with Lou and her hallucinations with Adam, which we barely got any of in this season. But I still thought this was a very satisfying enough ending for this second season, and definitely made it worth all the hype that I had leading up to it. And it's gonna be a lot of fun to theorize and speculate what we could expect to see go down in this third season, especially on whether or not we could expect to see more of the backstory of some of these other characters when they were alive on Earth, like what we got with Serpentius, Alistair, and Vox. And I will indeed be making a video theorizing on what we could expect to see go down in Hazbin Hotel Season 3. But overall, this was a pretty good way to end off what I thought was a really good season for Hazbin Hotel. But that was my breakdown of the final 2 episodes for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Again, be sure to stay tuned on the channel for when I go ahead and make my video speculating for Season 3 of Hazbin Hotel, as well as my spoiler-free review for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Be on the lookout for those videos and leave your thoughts on these final 2 episodes down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video, and have a great day.